Legs!
All right. So I'm going to do the Little Mermaid, which is actually a really fun speedrun. If you want to get a good time, it is a bit of a pain because of the RNG, which we'll explain a little bit as we go through. But I'll do a countdown and we can start the timer. So 3, 2, 1, go. And I did hold in start there to skip that cutscene. I'm going to hold in B the whole game to go faster. The only thing noteworthy in terms of items in this game is this very first one here, this pearl. This allows you to bubble fish in one attack rather than in two. And that's all you really need to kill the bosses efficiently. Most of the stages are very straightforward. I'm not supposed to take that hit, but it's not a big deal. You lose about a half a second for that. The only enemy in this game, boss-wise, that is able to be manipulated is this first boss, which is the fight against the shark. But you can see this game's like, it's quite short and the stages are really nothing. So I'm going to let the shark bite 3 times, and then I'm going to move forward and bubble this fish and this one. I have to wait a moment before I hit the second time because of the iframes. And then I bubble this and stay low enough that the shark's going to spawn above me. Throw again, and then see I hesitated before I threw it. That way the second fish would appear faster. And then here, you actually hold an A to make the points count down faster, which I didn't know that for the first week I ran this game. And I think I lost like 12 seconds on my PB. This stage, I definitely don't want to take a hit, so I might be a little bit safe depending, but this is probably the hardest boss fight in the game to do well. It's the eels. The reason it's difficult is because they have pretty erratic patterns themselves, but also the projectiles you need to hit them with are these crabs on the ground. They don't always stand up when you need them to, so you kind of have to be able to adapt on the fly to kill them quickly. I'm hoping to get a decent pattern, but you know, it probably won't happen, so we'll see what happens. Not much to say about the movement in this game, other than moving straight up and down is faster than moving at an angle, so we try to do that more often on the vertical parts and move straight left and right as well. Let's see what kind of patterns we get from the crabs and eels here. I actually don't like the middle spawns like this. It tends to be problematic like that, so yeah, I'm already down a hit, and the crabs are being weird. So, alright, I got 2 hits, that's not too bad. I should have hit him instead of doing that. That was a mistake. Oh well. Oh, please.
Oh, come on, crab.
This is this game in a nutshell.
Yeah. Yeah, this boss fight stinks. You got the eels, they'll juke you and like spawn
Not the best showcase,
out,
but at least they're dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Gonna hold an A again, and then hold and start to skip the cutscene. You gotta make sure you remember to do that in between every stage. Alright, so this is the ice area. You know, very much not in the movie, but that's fine. It's a video game. It's fun, so
that's right.
Who cares? This route is pretty simple. We used to go under that seahorse, and then Indy figured out it was slightly faster to go above it, so we all started doing that. Actually, if you look at this leaderboard, there's a lot of heavy hitters on it. A lot of pretty prestigious NES runner names are on there. There's actually a faster strat here that Indy also developed, but I forget how to do it, so I'm going to go for this old one where you just grab the shell. Or not, I'm just going to miss the shell. Which is fine. You lose about a half a second for that. Okay, so we're coming up on this walrus boss, and he's definitely the bane of this speedrun. He'll either give you these shells you can hit him with, or he won't, and most of the time he just doesn't care to. So we'll see what happens. Perfect pattern would be only 1 ice cube, and that's already not happening, I think. Yeah, there's 2. 3. Perfect. Beautiful. Thanks for doing what you always do, Walrus. See how many ice cubes I get on the left side. The worst possible pattern would be to get 3 ice cubes on each side. That's a nice sign there. Okay, 4. Alright, 4 is the, what, 3rd worst pattern you can get? So I guess we'll take that. Pretty standard for this game. Alright, so this 4th stage has some pretty interesting movement in terms of just being a swimming game. But you want to move very slightly down here just so you can get under this volcano. And then here you just move ever so slightly down to get away from this shrimp. And then here, this is a little manipulation. If if you just brush up against that block like that, it kind of just keeps all the enemies out of your hair and you can get through here quick. A lot of the times on the transitions too, you'll see that I position myself in a certain way. Like on that transition there, I moved to the top of the doorway on purpose so I could just traverse all that really cleanly. I'm going to purposely take a damage boost after I move up here. That's just faster than waiting on any of this stuff, so it does make this fight a little bit scary, but hopefully I won't botch it. This fight can lose you the most time in the game, honestly. You just want fish to show up, which so far is so good. Ideally a fish and an urchin here, if spaced out right, would be best, but that wasn't best. That's pretty good though. Alright, so we're about to enter Ursula's castle, which is a very confusing maze, as you'll see. Sebastian was saying something cool, I imagine, but we never listened to him. Poor guy. This has some pretty catchy music as well. Slightly down. So here's the maze. 1, 2, 3, and that's it. Yeah.
I get it.
I don't get it. I need Ro to explain. Oh, I got the skip.
Oh, nice, dude.
That's not easy to get. I mean, that was just luck, whatever, but I'll pretend I did it on purpose. Yeah, that screen looks tight, but it's actually really simple to get through that. Alright, so it's time to fight the first form of Ursula here. This fight is pretty rough. Not quite as bad as the eels, but almost. It's very RNG dependent. Like, you hope that there's ample ammo, which that started off kind of well, but then it kind of went awry. Let's see if I can snag him. That was good. Ish. Alright, cool.
Nice. Good fight.
I think this is one of those games that was targeted towards kids and actually kind of showcases that. Like, it's quite easy. It's nice. Very safe for a marathon.
Alright, so this is our final boss fight.
So I need to hit Ursula 7 times. See what kind of current patterns I get. That sort of affects things. Yeah, and this is not looking great. That's okay, though. It's not like she won't die, so... Or I can just miss entirely somehow. I gotta be careful on one more hit. I think she's one more hit, so time. Yeah, 732 is not terrible. It's to be expected in a marathon since this game is entirely dependent upon whether or not you get good boss patterns.
Right.
The execution's all really simple. Yeah, for anyone who cares about the ending, she does get her legs, so I'll at least show that. I know if Carrie Madonna's watching, she'll be happy to see this, because I always skipped it in the past, and she'd get bummed. There it is. Beautiful. And then now she's, you know, with Prince Eric, and everything's wonderful. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I'm also going to do Chippendale right after this, so do you guys want to do setup time in between, or you just want me to go straight to it? Okay, cool. Then that's that. Thank you.
Thank you, angrylanks, that run of the Little Mermaid.